This just happens to be one of those times. We're having fun now, but tomorrow, neither one of us will be able to get out of bed until daylight has come and gone. Which puts the recovery time for Russian standard vodka at about 36 hours. Russian standard vodka, and the monster hangover that follows, and the teens out in the street. Everything seems unnaturally bright and cold than usual. We've only been out a few minutes, and both of my feet already feel like wooden pegs. It's time for a pick-me-up, and a Russian tea room catches our eye. Inside, it feels like we've stepped back in time and place. It's more like a grandmother's sitting room in Russia than a restaurant in China. But since it was the Russians that put Harbin on the map in the first place, I guess it makes sense.
Hey, see if we can get the waiter. Who you are? Now. What do you think they'll have? I mean, it's a Russian place. They've got to have tea. Do you think they have caviar? Oh, yeah. Eggs? Oh, yeah. Strong tea, caviar, toast. All right, let's eat. I get the feeling this may be the standard Russian hangover cure. And it can't come a moment too soon. Sounds good. The caviar is really good, and the tea is really strong. So gradually we're able to regain our wits and remember what we're supposed to be doing in Harbin.
You know, we've seen so much of kind of the new, the stuff that's changed, all that. And I know in a city of, 9 or 10 million people, we've got to find some parts that are still as gritty and as kind of like meaty as what Harbin used to be for us. So I think we definitely should help along with that now and see if we can take us over, to that sort of area, kind of like the real, the grit, the actual streets of Harbin, the stuff that's not there, the stuff that's, exactly like it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, where's the heavy industry? Where are the smokestacks? Where are the people in the drab green outfits, selling sweet potatoes on the side of the road? That's the stuff that I remember. So you got the change and you have the old. You just got to go.
Back when we were kids, Harbin was a city full of industry. Most of the people worked in factories and lived in standard worker housing. I remember many gray days when smoke from all the factories hung low in the air, blocking out the sun. Harbin is still an industrial city, with all kinds of food processing plants, manufacturing facilities, and high-tech development. But there seems to be a better balance with other types of industry, like agriculture, transportation, education, and research. That kind of diversity has brought new people into Harbin and created a more livable city for everyone. There are parks and trees and much nicer living conditions, but the past is still scattered throughout the city. The place we grew up in has been demolished to make way for a high-rise. But on the outskirts of the city, we begin to see the old railway worker neighborhoods. And we're kind of happy to see they're still here, to remind us of what Harbin used to look like. This is much more, I think, the Harbin that we remember.
Yeah.
Low buildings, grit, bikes, people bundled up out in their neighborhoods.
This is the very old part of the city.
你们好。
你好。
这月师傅过年要发吗？
不知道啊，您问我，我哪知道？
你们是干啥呀？
到底干啥
我？们拍电视。
拍电视啊。
可以啊。
He was asking if this place is going to be demolished soon. I don't know. We're TV people.
Are a lot of the places around here being demolished?
咱们这一片有很多地方都已经开始拆迁了吗？
没有呢，没有。
Not yet.
要准备给俄罗斯福建园。
But there is a plan to turn the whole area into a kind of a Russian-style park.
Really?
So it seems not even this place will be here much longer.
And then where will they move to?
那拆迁以后，咱们得搬到哪儿去呢？
随便给你钱走人吧。你选自己走。
They're giving them money to go somewhere?
Exactly.
Okay.
This is happening throughout China. The old must make way for the new. Sometimes people are relocated to newly built towns and cities, while others are simply given money to find new places to live on their own.
So what does he think living in the cold does? Is there any kind of characteristic that he thinks people from Harbin have that's different from the rest of the country?
那您觉得在这么寒冷的气候里居住的这个有什么特点吗？
习惯了，原来在夏季以前哈尔滨更冷，白天30度。
You know, Harbin people are famous for its honesty. They're all very honest people, and we're also very friendly to Russians. We and Russians are partners always, before and now.
It's interesting. The Chinese classify the different types of people by the region they live in. So if you're from the Northeast, you're honest and hardworking. And it's those people in Harbin, and they built Harbin, and they're the ones who continue to adapt over the years.
很高兴见到你，谢谢。
As we wander through the back alleyways, everyone says hello, and the Chinese equivalent of cold enough for you?
Many of the houses in this neighborhood are occupied by railroad and factory workers, and many of these families have been here since it was constructed nearly a century ago. This is so cool back in here. I love it.
Yeah, this could be 50 years ago. It could be,
You got potatoes kicking around.
oh, that's cool. Whoa. Is that frozen?
I think so.
Let me see. Yeah, that's as hard as a rock.
Wow.
This gives you just a little bit of an idea of how absolutely frigid it is out here.
You know, when we lived
These are
here,
frozen solid.
when we lived here 25 years ago or so, people used to get potatoes and vegetables, cabbage, by the hundreds of kilos and bury them underground. So a lot has changed. I don't think people are still doing that.
Well, people in the countryside still do that, but not in the city because now you can buy vegetables in winter, but at that time, there weren't any vegetables in the shops in winter. So they have to store enough vegetables, for them to go through winter.
Back on a main street, we come across a small food market.